Former Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney and his wife Ann sat down with Fox News' Chris Wallace for their first interview since the 2012 election. And when pressed on why she thought her husband lost, Ann, quote, jokingly blamed the media. Let's take a listen.
Because there were reports that you and your oldest son, Tag, were frustrated with the Romney campaign, that they didn't, quote, let Mitt be Mitt, that they didn't let him show his more open, compassionate side. True?
Well, of course, it was partly, it's true, but it was not just the campaign's fault. I believe it was the media's fault as well, is that he was not being given a fair shake, that people weren't allowed to really see him for who he was.
All right. What about the media?
I'm happy to blame the media.
Do you think the media was in the tank for Barack Obama?
I think that it's anytime you're running for office, you always think that you're being portrayed unfairly. And, you know, we, of course, on our side believe that there's more bias in favor of the other side.
So, Jack, what do you say? Did Ann Romney have a point? This was all part of her frustration that voters didn't really get to know Mitt for who he was, is what she said. Did the media really misrepresent Mitt Romney, or were they just working with the persona that the campaign sort of put out there?
I think they were sort of working with the persona, and I think also Mitt Romney kept messing up over and over and over again. You know, I mean, it wasn't the media that made the 47% comments. It wasn't the media that said, you know, I don't care about the very poor, you know, and so he gave the media a hell of a lot to work with, I think, and that overwhelmingly was what they were interested in.
Sabrina, you know, sorry, Jack, I just want to turn to Sabrina and David and ask you guys. We saw Stuart Stevens come out and say, respond basically to the exact same question that Chris Wallace asked Ann Romney. Is he in the tank? Or is the media in the tank for Obama? He said no. So there's a difference here.
Well, look, I do want to say one thing, having traveled with the campaign, there was such limited access to Mitt Romney as a candidate. So it's odd to criticize the media when you're unwilling to field any of their questions. Their campaign from very, very early on decided that they did not want to really have an open relationship with the media or engage with them. And it's up to a campaign to smartly utilize the media and think about how you engage with that group. You know, when you're asking for clarification on past, you know, I guess on attacks on Mitt Romney or past statements that were floated actually probably during the Republican primaries, not even the general race. It's up to the Romney campaign to really come out and say, let us tell you about Mitt Romney. Let us tell you what he thinks about this. And not, you know, every story ending with the Romney campaign didn't return a request for comment.
I would also add this, that Mitt Romney did a very bad job of essentially walking into his own stereotypes. I mean, I guess in other words, he did that a lot. There was a stereotype, whether you think it's fair or unfair, out there of Mitt Romney as this kind of rich plutocrat, this aristocrat. And it wasn't just that he was making gaffes or errors or saying the wrong thing. It's that many of those gaffes or errors were saying things that actually confirmed the cartoon. Mm-hmm. And so that's really how the narrative got away from them.